Hello and welcome to Nice and Blunt. It's time for another live stream. It is Friday, June 13th, Friday the 13th. I think we're going to have some good luck though today. Let us begin. We're drafting on Underdog. All right, you guys know the drill. We've been here before. We've reviewed the rules in other videos. I think we're just going to hop in this time. It's the Schnauzer 2 $3 entry 20-second pick clock. If you want it, if you want to draft with me, hit that button right now. We're on a slight delay. I'll wait a few seconds. We are hopping in right this second. There are 8 spots, so if you would like to join me, you still can. Hopefully this doesn't take too long to fill. And it's down to 6 people waiting. We should get going pretty soon. But let me get myself situated. You guys can't see my screen, but need to get up the chat going. Let me just get some logistics while we wait. Looks like this lobby is full. And it looks like it's all set. Yeah, we got the chat rolling. We're in good shape here. We get pick 12. Fan-fucking-tastic. We get pick 12. So this will be a kind of random team. Like, obviously, if there's some great values available to us, we will take them. But in general, when I'm at pick 12, I feel more of like an allowance to do whatever the fuck I want. If I want to reach 20 picks on a player, I can, because you have to wait 22 picks in order for your next selection. So we will be pulling from all sides of the board in this one. This one might get weird. I say that and watch me draft like the most ADP driven team you've seen. But maybe we'll just get lucky. Maybe we'll get some good values. Let me zoom in, get this thing situated. No. There we go. Expand. Yeah, make it bigger. Okay. That should be good. That's good. All right. Let's see what happens. Last live stream, one of the audience members, Albie, was drafting with us, had CMC and Ashton Genty at the 9 spot. I would love to have that type of start on this draft. Let's hope for something like that. Odds are it won't happen, but we'll mix it up. We'll see what we can get. So far, running back has been pushed down. CMC goes pick 5. Team at 6 there. I'm sure they're happy with Bijan. But team 7, really the main benefactor. If they don't go Jahmyr Gibbs, I think they're making a mistake. But Jamar Chase, Saquon, Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, CMC at 5. The only out of the ordinary thing so far. Yep, Gibbs goes 7. We've been drafting a few more running back heavy teams in the early rounds. Maybe we go with a more wide receiver focus in this draft. That's usually what you can do at that 12 spot, but we'll see what happens. Henry goes. Amon-Ra gets taken. We will go Genty. We will definitely take Genty. And then Nico's there. But personally, I kind of would rather have Brian Thomas than Nico Collins. I'm starting to think I might even prefer Drake London over Nico Collins. I'm going to go Brian Thomas. So we mentioned maybe some odd picks, but at least the 1-2 turn, we'll keep it somewhat normal. We get the falling value of Genty. I do have Thomas ranked above Nico. So sticking with my rankings, maybe we'll get a little weird as this thing goes by. But rounds 1 and 2, maybe play it a little safer. Genty BT. The thing about Brian Thomas is like he was just so dominant, and those numbers came with Mac Jones. Like his production with Mac Jones was off the charts. These last several games, at least 10 targets in all of them. Let's start with week 11 at Detroit, where he got 7 targets. These final 7 games averaged 11 targets per game, 7.1 receptions, 96 yards per game, and 5 touchdowns. That is a pretty high touchdown rate. That, off the top of my head, I'm sure I have the number somewhere, but we're already looking at like practically 18 points a game. You're getting 13 points strictly off of catches and yards as a baseline. So if that is what you can expect with Mac Jones, what should we be able to expect with Trevor Lawrence? And I know you can kind of point to the games prior to that with Trevor Lawrence, but that offense was kind of different. After the bye, Brian Thomas did kind of emerge even more in that offense. So I expect more of the same. I think Brian Thomas will be fantastic. Some people are on board with Travis Hunter breaking out. I'm still of the belief that Brian Thomas is going to be by far and away the alpha in that offense. If anything, Hunter might free up some space for Brian Thomas, but he's just so fast, so athletic, so difficult to cover, and he can really score from anywhere on the field. Like Brian Thomas is just a phenomenal athlete. He's young, entering year 2, should take a bit of a leap, and typically the LSU receivers tend to dominate in the NFL. Like in the first round, we have 4 LSU receivers going off the board. We got Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Malik Neighbors, and Brian Thomas. LSU usually gives us some of the best receivers in the game. Just think of OBJ, Jarvis Landry, among others. Hard to go wrong with an LSU receiver. But Jonathan, what's up? Welcome. We got Genty today. Genty at 12. I'm starting to come around a little bit on Genty. I felt like I was kind of discriminating against Genty as the rookie hype train maybe going out of control, but in general, it's hard to find a running back going after him that I want more. Just put on like an Ashton Genty highlight reel after you watch this video and you'll start to buy in to Genty's upside. He's just so good in college. Granted, it was Boise State, but like still phenomenal athlete. Going to get a shit ton of work in Las Vegas, and I think their offense is actually going to be decent. Chip Kelly will be an effective play caller, in my opinion. I think they're going to be good. I think I'm actually starting to come around. I predicted them for 7 wins in my win-loss pick video for the AFC West. I have adjusted it as I've gone over some other teams. I'm actually going to bump them up to 9 wins. I think they're going to be a 9-win team. They're going to be hovering around 500. I think 8 is probably the safe bet, but an optimistic 9 wins for the Raiders is possible. That's for sure. Doubt that 9 wins is enough to get into the playoff picture. If they didn't play in the AFC West, then they'd probably get double digits. But Geno Smith had 10 wins last year with Seattle. I think he can get 10 wins. Possibly. I think 9 is in the cards. But we're going to be on the clock. We rarely go with like elite quarterbacks. And Allen gets taken. So I would love to go Lamar here, but Lamar's off the board. Maybe we grab a Jacksonville double stack with Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter. Let's do it. I rarely take Hunter, but there is potential there. And with 20 seconds on the clock, we have some time to think about it. Let's mix it up. Let's go George Kittle. George Kittle is pretty much never drafted on this side of the board. I've never really seen Kittle fall past like pick 55. If you can get Kittle in the second half of the 5th round, you are getting a steal. But I really kind of never see that. So we'll just mix it up. We'll take Kittle, and maybe we grab like a Juwan Jennings and set up like a a Brock Purdy stack, perhaps. But yeah, when I'm at the turn, like I mentioned, this is when I feel willing to pull someone way, way up from the ADP. We go Travis Hunter, George Kittle with Brian Thomas, Ashton Genty. Probably a unique start, maybe not the correct way to go. Definitely some risk involved, but Kittle can outscore the other receivers going here. Kittle can absolutely put up more yards than Xavier Worthy, Tet McMillan, even DJ Moore. And the only player I think is like a decent bet to outscore him in terms of touchdowns would be like maybe Jamison Williams in Detroit, like maybe DK Metcalf, but hard to think of like a ton of receivers that are going to have a shot at like double-digit touchdowns like George Kittle is kind of like guaranteed to put up. Purdy just loves Kittle in the red zone, whether it's a 10-yard reception or a deep shot with some yak. Kittle scores a lot of touchdowns. He had 8 last year, 6 the year prior, 11 back in 2022. And that was the first year with Brock Purdy. So that connection should pay off. We're going to be targeting Brock Purdy for sure. So maybe at the turn here, we go with like Juwan Jennings and Rome Odunze. We get Rome for like a Week 17 bring back. The Niners play Chicago. And perhaps target some Indianapolis Colts who do face off against the Jaguars in Week 17 as well. But Albie says good luck. Join you in the next one. If you know that, we will do a second one, that's for sure. Jonathan says Chip Kelly makes me nervous, even though Ohio State won the Natty. Ultimately, I feel like that offense was super underwhelming considering the talent. I get what you're saying. I think in the context of like the new college football playoff and like a bit of a longer schedule for those college athletes, and the fact that you didn't have to win every game in order to make the college football playoff, I kind of feel like Ohio State played a little bit more conservatively than they could have, just to make sure that they were at their best at the end of the year. I could be projecting, I could be full of shit, but I have heard that theory floated, and it did pay off for them. They did win the Natty. I think Chip Kelly will be okay in the NFL. He has some experience. I think he'll be all right. But no Genty Henry start. We did not have that available to us. Derrick Henry goes pick 10. We get Genty at pick 12. We could go RJ Harvey. Calvin Ridley fell. Kind of hard to pass on Calvin Ridley at this price. I have a ton of Calvin Ridley, but I definitely think he's going to be poised for a lot of targets. So maybe I shouldn't keep adding to that exposure, but hard to pass. Very hard to pass. And then we did plan on the Brock Purdy selection. We're going to go Juwan Jennings to pair up with Kittle. If we pass on RJ Harvey, we'll get some running back values later. And there is a team with 3 running backs. Most teams already have 2. But with Genty as our stud, I feel like I've kind of overreacted a bit in some previous drafts where, like, if we don't get elite running backs early on, we're screwed. You're not completely screwed. You can make it work. You can find a way. Not the end of the world. But Ridley also offers us some divisional correlation with Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter. So that could also pose for some upside. I think they're playing in the fantasy playoffs. I think those two teams do face off. So, no. The Titans faced Jacksonville in week 18. So irrelevant for this tournament setting. That's okay. I do think Calvin Ridley is the best receiver pick at this point. I'm willing to take Ridley around the like 4 or 5 turn. I think he might be better than Jamison Williams. Could actually outscore DJ Moore potentially. I do like Ridley. Ridley's poised to have such a high floor. Like, I trust Cam Ward enough to put up, at worst, the numbers he had last year. Ridley is guaranteeing you 1,000 yards receiving. So roll on the floor as much as you want. Be covered in dirt, cash fee. Laugh as much as you want. I will be laughing to the bank with Calvin Ridley. A couple years ago, Ridley was like one of my biggest targets. I was fully on board Ridley. That was when he was with Jacksonville, and I was worried about him last year because of the, Titans situation. But once DeAndre Hopkins was traded away, Ridley is the man. There's no threat at all for Calvin Ridley. And one reason why I also always harpen back to Ridley and just like can't find a reason to hate on him. Yes, he's 31. Maybe that's not ideal, but he gets paid $23 million per year. That's the 17th highest paid receiver. And at the time, last year, it was much closer to like wide receiver 10. So the contract is there. There's not much competition. Cam Ward is why I believe in Calvin Ridley at such a high level. But running back is drying up. We'll see if these teams, they do take Judkins from us. But it's not the end of the world. Cashby's curious how many teams I have right now. It's approaching 100. It's not quite 100. I believe it's like 85. It's getting close to 100. Not quite there yet. But we're absolutely taking Ayuk. We're going to get a triple stack in San Francisco. Hopefully we don't get sniped on Purdy. But 100% going with Ayuk. And then do I reach on Brian Robinson? I really don't like drafting Brian Robinson, honestly. Not a pick I enjoy making. We mentioned maybe we target a Indianapolis Colt for the sake of that Jacksonville matchup. But Diggs has fallen. I'm pretty underexposed, underweight on Diggs. We'll take Diggs. It also leaves us open for a Drake May selection if we do get sniped on Purdy and potentially Trevor Lawrence. And it appears that Diggs is healthy. I was worried that Diggs would not be healthy, not going to be a good pick. But that pink cocaine maybe is a miracle drug. Perhaps it's really helping him out with his knee soreness. Maybe something else. Maybe something else that's pink is helping him out as well. But we'll go Stephon Diggs. There's just no real good value at running back here, so we'll just piece it together. We'll take some swings. Maybe we draft like ETN and Tootin if we get sniped on Purdy and just go with like a massive Jacksonville onslaught. Maybe Jacksonville is the team you need. I think Liam Cohen is like a decent play caller. I think the Jags are actually going to be very competitive. I'm starting to come around on Travis Hunter and his impact on the Jaguars, but that running back rotation has a lot of risk. You can absolutely draft the wrong player. It also has a tremendous amount of upside, especially if ETN gets dealt. Like, best case scenario, you draft ETN and Tootin, and then ETN, like a month before the season, gets traded to Dallas, and you have two starting running backs with top 15 potential, whereas you're drafting them at like a running back 35 type of price. Like, ETN goes running back 36, Tootin goes running back 39. If that happens, those will end up being two phenomenal selections. So would need to kind of fall into that. Need to be very lucky. But so far this team is pretty loaded at receiver. We can probably cool it on receiver for a while. Maybe only draft like one more. We have 6. Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter, Calvin Ridley, Jawan Jennings, Brandon Ayuk, Stephon Diggs, George Kittle at tight end, and Ashton Genty. Watch us get sniped on Brock Purdy. Who has the team at 5 has CMC, and then the team at 3 has Ricky Pearsall, and they go Pittman. So there's one team we don't have to worry about. This team at 5 might wreck this strategy with this pick. If they want Purdy, they have to take him here. Because there's no way Purdy's making it past 109 based on my roster so far. Shaheed. The only thing that gives me the gumption to actually do that, Cashfee, is the fact that we're a pick 12. We got to wait 22 picks for our next one. Whoever the fuck you want at the turn is who you can take. But we'll queue them up. Everyone in this draft probably knows where we're going with this pick in terms of Brock Purdy, so let's get him. And the fact that Bo Nix is falling makes me a little more... Yeah, he gets taken. This team has Baker. This team has Josh Allen. This team with Baker takes him, I'm going to be pissed. ETN goes. Oh, I kind of wanted ETN. The only problem with drafting one running back at the turn is, like, even if people don't realize you're the same team, they see two picks back-to-back with teams with only one running back, and they're like, yeah, I'm grabbing a running back before they go off the board. So Purdy automatically our pick here. Question is, what else do? We need running back badly. We desperately need running back. So I don't like Tyrone Tracy. I've drafted a lot of Najee, and, like, it's kind of a low upside move. I could argue for Charbonnet here, but we're just going to go Tootin. We're just going to fully endorse this Jacksonville onslaught. We're going full Jags on this roster. So Purdy triple stacked with Kittle, Jawan, and Ayuk. Feels good. Ashton Genty better fucking work out. Tootin needs to fall into some luck, but absolutely can. A fast motherfucker can provide some excellent spike weeks. And then receiver, very loaded with BT, Travis Hunter, Calvin Ridley, Juwan Jennings, Ayuk, and Diggs. I think this team is viable. Absolutely a risky endeavor. Odds are Mike Evans was probably a correct pick above Travis Hunter and George Kittle. He probably outscores both of them, but Mike Evans is also getting up there. I believe Mike Evans is 32 this year. Yes, Mike Evans is 32. He did miss some time last year. Maybe it happens again. Maybe he goes down. But with our next pick, we'll be in the market for Trevor Lawrence 100%. And hopefully if we get sniped, a guy like Drake May can fall and we can pair him with Diggs. If not, we'll go with, like, Cam Ward later and we'll figure it out. But the odds that Charbonnet falls all the way back around are extremely slim. If it does happen, then the Lord gave me a gift. I do not expect it to occur, though. Can also be in the market for Tyjae Ray Davis. We'll be grabbing one of those running backs for sure. If we get sniped on Lawrence, it's probably going to benefit me to just pass on Drake May. Yep, Sharp goes. You can hope, but odds are it's not going to happen. If anything, it was more likely that Tootin would have fallen to us. But that team that took ETN sniped me. I didn't really want to risk a double snipage. We can also get Bigsby later. That's also open to us. And I know I've shit on Ramondre Stevenson like a ton in these live streams, but this is actually a roster I'm willing to take Ramondre because of the weeks I think he will perform well. So beautiful. We get Trevor Lawrence. We've got our double stacks set up. And this Tootin pick is absolutely a risky endeavor. And if he's not going to be performing well, it's going to be early in the season. We will take Ramondre, who probably has a bit bigger of a role early in the year in the Patriots offense. Like first month in September, as Travion Henderson finds his footing, I assume Ramondre probably has some decent role, some relatively high level of touches. I absolutely think it's going to fade. I'm definitely worried, but there's also the scenario where Trayvon Henderson goes down. There's always the upside potential of a handcuff running back popping because the player above him does get hurt. So we do go Ramondre. I don't like it, but I think it is probably one of the safer picks on this team. And even though I think he's overpriced, I'm willing to take him just because I need running back so badly. And I'm worried that Tootin will not be that heavily involved in the month of September. As we approach Halloween, I think Tootin will be elevated a bit more as the coaching staff starts to fade ETN just like last year over time. I think Tootin will emerge in the later half of the season. Rookie running back with tremendous upside in the fantasy playoffs. Maybe not so much early in the year. Maybe Ramondre contributes a little bit more in exchange. But we're going to need to hammer running back a lot the rest of the way here. We are definitely a bit behind at that position, but I still think this is a good team. It's risky, very risky, but it's not something I am afraid of doing. Cashv asking, so with 100 teams, does Underdog give you a decent dashboard to help you see how your teams are doing? Like, are you asking as of today or like during the season? Because during the season, you can check up on them at any time. Like it shows you your teams, and then it shows you if they're winning any money or not. And you can click on them. It shows you which position you have in the lobby you're in. But other than like total points, unless you like go in and find them, it's not like advertising you to you every week. Like there's no notification or anything that you know, your team is doing well or poorly. It's okay. Albie, is this in regards to my roster or the Underdog dashboard? Which one is it? Yeah, this team could be a lot worse. It could probably be a bit better as well. Okay. The dash. I think you mean both. Anyways, if Likely is there for us, I would rather have Likely than Brenton Strange, but maybe we go with the full fucking Jags commitment. Maybe we go with Bigsby and Strange at the turn here. But if Likely is available, I will just draft Likely. I think Likely's way, way more valuable than Brenton Strange. When we have George Kittle, we can take the risk that, you know, those bummer games where Likely doesn't really contribute don't really affect us very much. With a tight end like Kittle, I feel a lot more comfortable risking the Likely pick. Even if I don't have Kittle, I think drafting Likely at this price is absolutely worth it. The team above us has TJ Hawkinson, Kincaid, so I don't think they're going to snipe us. They do not. We definitely are taking Likely, so no fucking chance I'm grabbing Strange. And then, yeah, fuck it. We're grabbing the other Jacksonville running back. Give me Tank Bigsby. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Jaguars on this team. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 Niners on this team. A Patriot, a Titan, another Patriot, 2 Patriots, and Ashton Genty. So we are committed to the Niners, who have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. Literally the easiest, like by far the easiest. There is like maybe maybe there's like 2 games on this schedule that you're worried about. The Rams games, I guess that there's 2 of those Rams games. And then like at Houston, at Tampa. Okay, so 4 out of 17 games are like kind of questionable. Otherwise, like, where the fuck is there a big test for the Niners here? At Seattle, first game against Brock Purdy and the Seahawks, they probably win that one. Saints, automatic dub. They probably split with Arizona, if not win both. Jacksonville, maybe they lose that one. Rams, they're probably going to split this season. At Tampa, maybe they lose, but versus Atlanta, probably a win. At Houston, maybe a loss, but at the Giants, that's a win. We already split the series with the Rams and the Cardinals. Versus Carolina, maybe a toss-up, but likely a win. At Cleveland, that's a win. After the bye versus Tennessee, that's a win. At Indianapolis, probably a win. Perhaps the Bears shock them, but then last game of the season versus Seattle, they probably win again. I think the Niners are like guaranteed 10 wins this year. Probably they hit 11. This schedule's just super, super easy. That's going to lead to a lot of high-scoring games. I do think investing heavily in San Francisco is probably worthwhile. Unless there's like an injury to Brock Purdy, they should be pretty good. But they do have Mac Jones as the backup. That's not the end of the world. It's not great, but it's not the end of the world in terms of fantasy numbers. We saw Brian Thomas put up good stats with Mac Jones. And who knows, maybe they trade for Kirk Cousins if that happens. They're going to be fine. I trust them. I think Brock Purdy will stay healthy. But we're going to need another receiver on this team, and otherwise the rest of the way we're drafting running backs. So this is round 15. We got 4 more picks, 3 more running backs absolutely need to be drafted on this team. We're stuck with some handcuffs, though. So we'll need to get lucky in terms of which ones pop off, which ones do not. Albie saying likely we'll have some monster weeks. Absolutely. Absolutely. Albie Flowers is so tiny that Lamar loves to target his tight ends in the red zone. Yeah, what we need for likely to work out is for Mark Andrews to fade. We need Andrews to fade quickly, which is definitely possible. But at running back, I've got 3 week 8 buys, so we need to make sure that's not on the docket. If Braylon Allen is there, I'd love to draft Braylon Allen. I think I'm going to get sniped, though. That's what I would expect. Not interested in Michael Wilson unless I have Kyler, and even then I'm pretty disappointed with that click. Not excited to draft Michael Wilson at all. Sweet, we do not get sniped on Braylon Allen, who falls 14 picks, and there are many reports that he will be more involved in this offense moving forward. But I should let the timer run out. We're back on the clock. We could go Justice Hill, but that kind of feels like a sad selection. I'm gonna go DJ Giddens. Very talented player. I've drafted a decent amount of DJ Giddens. Our 6th running back. We need 7 on this team, I think, because Ramondre gives me very little confidence. And then the combo of Tootin and Bigsby, one of them probably doesn't contribute very much. We're just kind of getting an insurance policy by drafting the other one and more of an investment in Jacksonville. But another reason I went with Giddens there over like Marshawn Lloyd, Nick Chubb, Justice Hill, a rookie running back, so the novelty makes you a little more excited. But also the Colts play the Jacksonville in Week 17. So if Jonathan Taylor does go down and we have the Colts starting running back, we would get that matchup for a potential bring back. I think that game is probably going to be a bit of a shootout. Weather will not be a factor. It's in the Colts stadium. They play in a dome and could benefit us in the fantasy playoffs. But these last 2 picks, we'll draft another receiver and another running back, call it a day. But so far, this team is possibly good. I'm not going to sit here and guarantee you it's going to win anything, but it has a chance. That's for sure. We got Brock Purdy, triple stacked with Kittle, Jawan Jennings, and Brandon Ayuk. We have Trevor Lawrence quadruple, if not like quintuple stacked with Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter, along with Bashal Tutin and Tank Bigsby. Our tight end 1 is George Kittle. Our tight end 2 is Isaiah Likely. And then at running back, we got Ashton Genty, Bashal Tutin, Ramondre Stevenson, Tank Bigsby, Braylon Allen, and DJ Giddens. So we're hoping for some injuries to guys like Travion Henderson, Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor, or perhaps just assuming that the market is wrong and that my previous conceptions on those players is incorrect and that these backups will be more involved in this offense than the market would suggest. It's possible. Let's hope it works out. But I kind of like this team. I think it has some upside. Absolutely some upside. If Marshawn Lloyd makes it back, I'll absolutely take Marshawn Lloyd. I would consider Keaton Mitchell if he didn't just go at 199. Nick Chubb off the board. And maybe we go with like Amari Cooper. We don't take Amari Cooper that often, but one of the more talented players left on the board. I believe he's 32 as well. Born in 94, so he's actually 31. Okay, Marshawn Lloyd does fall. So we get a great price on Marshawn Lloyd. He's going to be our 7th running back. Absolutely going with Marshawn Lloyd, but given we're at the turn, we're going to let the timer run out. Give us as much time to think about this. I'm comfortable with Amari Cooper. I think De'Ami Brown is already off the board, so we're not taking him. Jacksonville receiver. I don't think De'Ami Brown's going to be that good, so that's fine. I've been taking a lot of Jermaine Burton lately, but maybe not on this team. Maybe not. Ooh. Give me Demarcus Robinson. Let's go. Give me Demarcus Robinson. Under the radar signing by San Francisco. And maybe I'm going overboard and overkill with this massive investment in San Francisco. But what if Ayuk is just not the same? What if Ayuk misses a lot of time? What if Ricky Pearsall, who has an injury, does not stay healthy either? Demarcus Robinson typically goes undrafted. When I have Purdy and I'm looking for a stack, I'm willing to do it. So we kind of overcommit to some stacks, kind of caps the ceiling, but at the same time opens us up a little bit for like a decent floor. Demarcus Robinson, I think, has a shot to contribute. Alvy says he totally forgot about Robinson. Yeah, no one realizes, it seems, that Demarcus Robinson is a member of the Niners. But perhaps some Sean McVay resentment in regards to Kyle Shanahan stealing away a red zone threat for the Rams. And given some injuries with those receivers, Ayuk is not a guarantee. Pearsall at the moment, a bit of a risk. Maybe DeMarcus actually has a decent role in that offense that people are underestimating. So going off the beaten track, getting a player that is typically undrafted does open us up for some upside. And we have seen some big touchdown numbers for Demarcus Robinson at times last couple seasons. He had 7 touchdowns last year, 4 the season prior. Oh, God. Maybe. Maybe it happens. I wouldn't bet on it, but maybe it happens. So this is the team. A shit ton of Niners, a shit ton of Jaguars, a couple Patriots, and then a few other options. That's going to be it for this team. Let's draft another one. Let's do one more. We are hopping into the Schnauzer numero dos. 20-second pick clock. We're on like a 6-ish second delay. So if you want to join me, hit that button right now. I'll be hitting it in 4, 3, 2, 1. Vámonos, muchachos. 3 spots left. If you want it, come get it. If you want to draft with me, you still can. But that last team was interesting. Kind of fun. But if I get pick 12 again, I'm going to be fucking livid. We get pick 8. Pick 8 might be worse than pick 12. Pick 8 pisses me off the most. Albie gets pick 6. You lucky, lucky, lucky guy. I love pick 6 as well. Worst case scenario, you're getting Gibbs. And you also get a chance at like the very viable receivers in round 2. Pick 6 is a great spot to be in. Pick 8, I feel like I get sniped so much more than any other spot at pick 8. You get a lack of like great picks. We will make it work. We will find a way. It will be all right. Not gonna pout too much about it, but I'm not happy. That's for sure. Oh, I thought this team at 1 was named Dr. Pep. It's D-Prep. We got a poll question. Time for a poll question. What is the best soda? Coke, Sprite, Dr. Pepper, or what should we go for the 4th one? Would it be root beer? I feel like root beer probably fills in. Yeah, we'll go root beer as their last option. Which is the best soda? Oh, we're on the clock. Fine, we'll just take Puka. I'm a bit underweight on Puka, so willing to take Puka. But personally, I'm a Dr. Pepper guy. That's my favorite. That's the thing about people, like, the people who like Dr. Pepper fucking love it. You are either, like, fully on board with Dr. Pepper or you don't give a shit about Dr. Pepper. It's either, like, your least favorite or hands down, ride or die. People have a bit more, like, tepid takes on other ones. Like, Dr. Pepper may be more polarizing than any other soft drink. Yeah, at pick 6, it's just made for you. Whoever's at the top of ADP is who you should take. But it's not in the formula anymore. It's not in there anymore. Imagine if it still was. Imagine if the most, like, sought after beverage at every fast food place had cocaine in it. Maybe it still does, but we go with Puka. If London was here, I'd 100% take London, but I don't think I need another receiver. We're going to go Devon A-Chain. My preferred selection at running back in round 2. Once the top 5 are off the board. Once A-Chain might even be better than Henry. What we need is 80s era Coke. When it was pure. When you see like any footage from like the club back in the 80s and like even the white people are on beat, that's when the cocaine was as pure as can be. Now it's cut with fentanyl. Stay away, my friends. I do not endorse. I have, on a sad note, a couple friends from college who have OD'd because of cocaine. Be careful, everyone. The smallest amount of fentanyl can kill you. So, jokes aside, leave your nose alone. Stay out of the snow. Coke Zero is the 101. Nah, man. I completely disagree with this. You'll never catch me drinking a Coke Zero or a Diet Coke for that matter. Any of those artificial sweeteners that use aspartame, get the fuck out of my life. That shit is linked to cancer. Watch this live stream get flagged for bringing it up, but ain't no fucking chance I'm touching that shit. Devontae Adams. It's fine in moderation. Everything is fine in moderation, but in general, I don't like the way it tastes as well. I also hate the way it tastes. But I guess if you're trying to lose weight, you don't want any calories. It'll fuck you up in other ways. We can move off of soda. That's probably enough soda talk. We go Devontae Adams, one of my favorite picks in round 3. One of my highest drafted receivers. Generally. Not everything. Not like 100% grass-fed lamb that you can get at the grocery store. That's not linked to cancer. I just bought some yesterday, so it's on my mind. I was shocked to find out that 40% of the US population has never tasted lamb. That is insane. I've been eating lamb since I was a kid. Lamb is delicious, super nutritious. Lamb might be one of my favorite meats of them all. Anyways, I don't want to draft Breece Hall, but he falls 6 picks here. And we ignored running back in the previous draft. I'm also pretty underweight on Breece Hall, so let's take him. The blurb says he's motivated to prove himself again. We'll see how that goes. Completely burned me last year. Really regret it. But let's read what this says. Hall said a mandatory minicamp Wednesday. He's motivated to go prove that I am the guy to a new regime led by a new head coach, Aaron Glenn. Glenn talked up using all of Hall, Braylon Allen, and Isaiah Davis as much as possible earlier this offseason. But Hall is committed to securing another workhorse role for 2025. We have a great running back room. But my mentality is every day I'm going to prove that I'm the best back on this roster and one of the best backs in the league. Love to hear it. I just hope it happens. I have kind of lost a bit of hope. I don't think he's that excited to be playing in New York. I think he's kind of fed up with that organization. And if it means he is trying to prove himself for other teams on his next contract, then that'd be pretty dope. But I'm very worried that his target share falls with Justin Fields, and as well, he also loses a lot of touches on the goal line. But for him to fall this far, I think it's worth it. And it also opens us up for a Justin Fields stack selection. And you know me, if you've been watching these live streams, I do like the price on Justin Fields a lot. So an excuse to take him. Don't take him a lot, but willing to pull the trigger here. One player I need to be drafting a lot more of that I always, it's always too late when I remember to take him, but it's Chuba Hubbard. So I kind of wish I went receiver there so that I could just take Chuba maybe at pick 56, but watch us get sniped on Chuba anyways. Hurts is falling. We do not have a Eagle though, so maybe not worth it. If Flowers is there, I'll probably just take Flowers. Henderson goes. Yeah, I'm kind of regretting the Breece Hall pick just a little bit. We'll go with Zay Flowers. Actually, no, the pick I regret in context is passing on A.J. Brown. Because to pass on Jalen Hurts here feels kind of idiotic. But I'm overweight on Hurts already. Oh, wow, that team with Devontae Smith at 39. That's the reason why Hurts fell so much. They have Josh Allen. Wow, Team 12 might get a huge gift. What if Hurts falls all the way back around to us? That'd be fucking awesome. But I can't imagine this team at 12 passes on Hurts twice. Good for them. Goes James Conner. I don't think I'm going to pass on him twice, Albie. Even if you have Jaden Daniels. Oh, you also have A.J. Brown. Yeah, this is interesting. All of the Eagles. Wow, that team at 12 does pass. So I'd be kind of shocked if these next two teams take Hurts with Lamar and Allen. But this team does have DeVonta Smith. So wow, okay. So if Hurts falls one more pick, I'm 100% taking Hurts. Holy shit. What a steep discount on Jalen Hurts. Let's go. All right. Yeah, I wish I took A.J. Brown at 17 now. Damn. But even unstacked, the tush push was not banned. We can still get 15 rushing touchdowns from Jalen Hurts, and it don't fucking matter. I'll take it. Fuck yeah. Albie says I make a mean boned and butterflied marinated leg of lamb. Very nice. Very, very nice. I've been sniped sometimes recently that I felt obligated there to take Jaden one pick before the McLaurin team. I get it, but I'm sure in hindsight, you wish you passed on Daniels so that you took Jalen Hurts instead. But wow, this is interesting. Puka, A-Chain, Adams, Breece Hall, Flowers, and Hurts. We got really good values on Breece, Flowers, and phenomenal value on Jalen Hurts. This team is very, very interesting. Sometimes you get lucky. You know what? I take it back. I love pick 8. Pick 8 is what you need. Pick 8 is where you get all the values. Literally rewind like 10 minutes and I was fucking livid to have pick 8. Pick 8's working out. We're in good shape here. Would have loved to have Laporta there, but I think we're in line for Khalil Shakir because the Eagles play the Bills in week 17. And I also think Shakir really pairs well with a guy like Flowers. Flowers is boom bust, can give you like 4 points one week, 25 the next. Shakir is just like flatlining at 10 every week. Shakir is giving you like 70 yards on 6 catches. Fucking like clockwork. Unless Keon Coleman just massively overtakes him and Shakir has a different role this year. But last year, that's what Shakir was offering. Just locked in 9-point floor. The touchdowns obviously give you that 15-plus point upside. But in general, Shakir is just safe as can be. A good complement to a random spike week and terrible, terrible floor with someone like Flowers. So this team is looking decent. We get some week 17 correlation. Bills, Eagles. However, Eagles secondary is elite, so maybe Shakir does get locked up. Maybe that does happen. But should be a fine pick. In this round, in round 7, I do think Shakir is a very good pick. I think Shakir could arguably go a full round higher. I remember ranking him as like a consistent top 25 receiver last year. That was redraft though, for the sake of like safety and stuff, but don't hate it. Wish I could have gotten Darnell Mooney here for that Ram bring back, but that's okay. I'm gonna go Michael Pittman. Every time I draft TJ Hawkinson, I feel bad about it. I'm never like happy with the TJ Hawkinson selection. I just don't trust JJ McCarthy enough, and you can still get such good values at tight end. I don't ever feel like obligated to draft TJ Hawkinson. So maybe that team with Justin Jefferson and George Kittle on the clock right now gets TJ Hawkinson for the pair. But TJ Hawkinson starting to fall. No, they go Jordan Mason. They do not want double elite tight end. Kelsey over Hawkinson. That I don't agree with. That I would never do. All right. Hawkinson officially falling into round 9. Goes to team 2. Good value for team 2. But team 3, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. They take Kelsey over Hawkinson, and they already have McBride. Kind of strange. Fields goes. Kind of a bummer. But, oh no, we have Hurts. No problem. No problemo. That's perfectly fine. No issues with that at all. I would have taken Jalen Warren here, but he gets sniped. We don't take him a lot. We'll take a swing on Cam Scattaboo. Kind of worried about it. That Giants offense doesn't give me much inspiration or excitement. But we'll take Cam Scattaboo right at ADP. No discount. He was the highest ranked player, so we weren't getting a discount on anyone. I'm pretty underweight on Scattaboo, but he does have talent. He does have upside. It's just a question of what will the touch split be between him and Tracy. I do think he's going to beat out Tyrone Tracy. I'm not that committed to Tracy as the starter. But sometimes I question if any of my belief in Scattaboo is just watching him in the college football playoff against Texas. Like that game was just so phenomenal from him. But he's an all-around player. He can do just about everything. We're going to grab tight end here. Ingram, very tempting. Falls 3 spots, but we have A-Chain, and if we go with Jonnu Smith, assuming he stays in Miami, which I think will happen, then that can open us up for a Tua draft pick in case we get sniped on Matthew Stafford. And ideally, I'm taking Matthew Stafford here with Puka and Adams, but we have A-Chain and Jonnu, both heavy pass catchers. Tua is also an option, so give us a little bit of flexibility. We're not going to draft 3 quarterbacks, though, when we have Jalen Hurts. We're going to be targeting Goddard. That's for sure. But so far, the team is interesting. We got Hurts unstacked, but we're going to be targeting Goddard. Maybe we grab Jahan Dotson in round 18. And then at running back, we got Devon A-Chain, Breece Hall, Cam Scattaboo, wide receiver Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Zay Flowers, Khalil Shakir, Michael Pittman. So decent receiving core, some high ceiling running backs, despite some trepidation on Breece Hall and Scattaboo. And then Jonnu Smith was a league-winning tight end last year. Let's hope it repeats. As he continues to fall, I will continue to scoop up Jonnu Smith. I think people are overreacting to Jonnu Smith. Even if he does get traded to the Steelers, like some people are rumoring, like Schefter, that will happen, I still think Jonnu Smith's going to be really good because it's not like the Steelers have a fuck ton of pass catchers, and Arthur Smith really likes Jonnu Smith. Rodgers needs some new targets that he can trust. So, regardless of what happens with Jonnu, I think he's going to be a fine tight end. And that's a big reason why I pass on TJ Hawkinson, knowing I can get Jonnu Smith or Evan Ingram, even David Njoku in this round 9, 10, 11 section. I think it's much more valuable than TJ Hawkinson. Hawkinson could be elite. Obviously, if Addison gets suspended, should see a little extra targets in those matchups. But the JJ McCarthy bet feels very risky. hard to fully trust. So I typically end up passing on Hawkinson. And can't convince me that, like, vehemently Hawkinson is that much better than Jonnu Smith. He's probably better than Jonnu Smith, but not a guarantee, that's for sure. Jonnu should not be very far off of Hawkinson. We mentioned Goddard, but that's going to be in the next round, so we're not going to queue him up. We're going to pass on that. And then we definitely are not taking Goff. No need for Loveland or Tyler Warren. I suppose we could go Tyler Warren, actually. But I don't fully trust Scadaboot. We're going to go Javonte Williams. At the moment, if you put a gun to my head, who's the RB1 in Dallas? I think it's Javonte Williams. So, past ADP, we'll take him. We took Tootin in the last draft, so let's mix it up. I have a lot of Javonte already, but I'm willing to take him here. It's not like Rico Dowdle was like a league winner, but Rico Dowdle did outperform his ADP massively, and this is where you were drafting Rico Dowdle last year. If Jaden Blue is legit, then this is a bad pick, but as of today, I have no, like, strong conviction that Jaden Blue will beat out Javonte. I think Javonte will probably be the RB1, but it might be more of a committee than it was last year, because Zeke was just fucking washed. Zeke didn't contribute at all in Dallas. I mean, I mentioned I should probably take Goddard here, but we're getting Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland at a big discount. I'll just take Loveland. I could have gone with Warren there. We already have a Colt, so would have opened up a Daniel Jones pick, but I already got the stacking options with Tua and Matthew Stafford, and drafting the right Colts quarterback is absolutely it's probably not going to be the right guy. You're probably not going to draft the right guy. It's probably Daniel Jones, but he probably doesn't get a full season as the starter. So we'll avoid that scenario where we feel obligated to do that. Albie says maybe should have taken Dak there. When did you pass on Dak? Oh, you get Dak at 126. No, that's fine. You go Drake May instead. I think I'd rather have Drake May than Dak Prescott, personally. You have CeeDee Lamb, and it worked out for you. Good for you. Yeah. All works out. This is an interesting lobby that has really ignored quarterback, so it's good to read the room. But just as I say that, Cam Ward goes well above ADP. I'm surprised that team with Caleb passed on Colston Loveland. They have DJ Moore and Caleb Williams, and they took JJ McCarthy, I believe, unstacked. No, they have Addison. Okay. Now it makes sense. But yeah, pretty shocking that Loveland fell that far. I'd much rather have Loveland than Luther Burden. And it looks like we might get Goddard anyways. I don't know if I need Goddard on this team, but it's a decent stack. No, I'm gonna pass on this stack. We're gonna take Rachaad White. We need another running back and Rachaad White fell 10 picks. Goddard fell 10 picks. I need running back more than I need Goddard when I already have Jonnu and Loveland. This is an interesting lobby. This is kind of weird. If we end up with an unstacked Hurts, it's not the end of the world, especially with the discount we got. But I kind of wanted to take a running back with my previous pick, if not for the Loveland price. So very happy to get Rashad 10 picks past ADP. We've gotten actually some really good values. Like, uh, it is what it is, but a pick 8 did really work out for us. We got very lucky with pick 8. And it's kind of funny because this 12 team pod only has 2 teams without a badge. You would think there wouldn't be as many ADP values as there are. But maybe I just get lucky. Okay, so some team does take Goddard from us. That's fine. Not upset about that. Now we're on the clock. We're going to grab Stafford. We started off with Puka and Adams, much more committed to the Rams offense than the Dolphins offense. Even though we do have A-Chain in round 2 and Jonnu. But we drafted Rams in rounds 1 and 3. We'll go with Stafford. Stafford's also much more likely to stay healthy, even though he's much older. Tua could be out for the season in week 2 again. You know, like it could be a concussion for Tua in week 2 once more, and you know, Tua absolutely craters you. So we'll go with Stafford. The buys also don't line up, so we're good there. And if Devontae Adams really does crush, as I'm hoping he will, as I believe he will, then Stafford should pay off with some tremendous upside. Stafford should be fine at this price. So this is the team so far. We have an unstacked Hurts. We have a double stacked Stafford with Puka and Devontae Adams. We'll be interested in guys like Tutu Atwell, maybe Jordan Whittington, and Terrence Ferguson later on. Maybe Tyler Higbee as well. Not both of them. Actually, no, we're not drafting another tight end on this team, so never mind on that. And then at receiver, we have Puka, Adams, Flowers, Shakir, Michael Pittman, and then running back rolling with Devon A-Chain, Breece Hall, Scattaboo, Javonte Williams, and Rachaad White. Decent team. That Jalen Hurts pick really, really makes this a high upside team. But, do we grab Braylon Allen falling past ADP, or do we go with Will Shipley? We took Braylon Allen on the last team, and I'm not really dying to draft these receivers that bad. So we'll go with Will Shipley. Maybe Saquon goes down. Maybe there's a Madden curse and Shipley does contribute. But we do need at least some Eagle to stack. And perhaps Shipley does catch more passes. I'm forgetting. Did Shipley catch a lot of passes in college? Let me remind myself. He was a very good pass catcher in college. 2 years with over 30 receptions out of Clemson. He'll have some type of role. If he does get any games as the starter, then yeah, we will have some stacking appeal. But I'm probably going to draft like Jahan Dotson in round 18. The rest of this draft, these last 3 rounds, I'm 100% taking wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. We are behind the 8 ball at that position. We need it. And the best ADP value is Jalen Noel. Could be a limited factor, 100%, but also could beat out Christian Kirk. And personally, I didn't think he was that much worse than Jaden Higgins entering the draft. I thought they were kind of on equal footing. He doesn't have the same measurables as Jaden Higgins. He's nowhere near as tall as Higgins, but he was drafted in round 3, and I think he could occupy a Tank Dell role, especially if Christian Kirk does not pay off. So hoping for the best. Best comp is Rashee Rice. That's encouraging. But out of Iowa State, he had some Very productive last 2 seasons, 820 yards and 7 touchdowns as a junior. And then last year, just shy of 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns as a senior. So plenty of reps, plenty of experience. Should have a decent route tree in year one, given he played all 4 years in college. Also contributes in special teams. So perhaps a random return touchdown if they decide to use him that way. But if they do decide to use him that way, he probably doesn't see many targets. Probably not. But he was almost 20 picks below ADP. Worth a swing. We don't take him very often. It's just kind of crowded over there. But interesting. Worth a shot. We've taken Tutu Atwell in some other drafts, so don't think I'm going to go with Tutu this time. I think I'd rather go with Jordan Whittington. And then if we're planning on Jahan Dotson, we'll queue him up in round 17. It doesn't really matter which one we take, but there's no like standout receiver that I just have to grab here. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, you want to be taking a more unique player. Like, maybe Coker is actually the guy you need in Carolina, but he typically goes drafted 100% of the time. If he's an absolute zero, that doesn't help you at all. A.D. Mitchell's talented, but I don't trust the quarterback situation. He did jack fucking shit in his rookie season. I'm going to pass on A.D. Mitchell. Going to go Jordan Whittington, who hopefully in year 2 can contribute as potentially the wide receiver 3 in LA. We'll bet against Tutu Atwell. Oh, Tutu got sniped actually, so works out. We didn't leave Tutu on the board. He just got sniped. But, is there any reason at all to actually believe that Jahan Dotson is a decent pick? Probably not. It's just a desperate attempt at a stack. It's probably not worth it. But who else would I take? Ray? Nah. Wicks? Also in like the Jordan Whittington camp. Too much competition to feel great about it. We floated Amari Cooper last time. Maybe we go Amari Cooper. Yeah, fuck it. Let's ignore Jahan Dotson. We'll go Amari Cooper. Okay, so here's the squad. Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford, a naked Hurts, but at a tremendous value, 15 picks past ADP, totally worth it. Running back, Devon Achane, Breece Hall, Cam Scatterboot, Javonte Williams, hoping for one of these mid-level running backs to be better than their ADP. And then hoping that these handcuffs do contribute with Rachaad White, Will Shipley. Wide receiver, we got Puka, Devontae Adams, and Jordan Whittington for that Stafford stack. And then we also have Zay Flowers, Khalil Shakir, Michael Pittman, Jalen Noel, and Amari Cooper. Tight end is Jonnu Smith, and a very good value on Colston Loveland. So, interesting team. The Jalen Hurts pick, I think, makes this like a potential league winner. Absolutely. Tremendous upside with that value on Hurts in round 6. And, yeah, I think it's decent. There are some pitfalls, but I think our receiving core is very balanced, very competitive. Our running back core has high-end talent. If Breece can pay off, then I think this team should advance. I think this team can advance. But we didn't really look at any of the other teams. I could be ignoring some potential studs, but we will bring up Albie's roster, drafting with us in the comment section. We will bring it up, and after that, we will sign off. So Albie had pick 6. He goes Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Dak Prescott. Are there any stacks at receiver? He has Debo stacked up. He has CeeDee Lamb and Jalen Tolbert stacked up. He also has Zach Ertz, and hopefully, for his sake, my take on Ben Sennett does not work out. But you also have Drake May, Dak Prescott. Kind of feel like you don't need these 3 quarterbacks. I feel like if anything, maybe Drake May is unnecessary there. But Drake May has the rushing upside that Dak does not, so I can kind of justify it. But based on ADP, yeah, maybe Dak is the only quarterback you need. So perhaps that Drake May pick was unnecessary. But at running back, Chase Brown, Travion Henderson, Caleb Johnson, Jaden Blue, Jarquez Hunter. Decent core. Little risky in terms of these rookies. Like, Chase Brown is not like the biggest running back you can find. Did get injured after being the full-blown starter last year. So if he goes down, to have 4 rookies behind him on the depth chart, it's kind of weird that Jaden Blue has a picture and the other ones don't. Jaden Blue was drafted in like round 6 or something. That's kind of weird. But yeah, there's a chance that you have very little contributions from them in the beginning of the season before they fill out the roster. But it's decent. There's tremendous upside. I love Travion Henderson, like Caleb Johnson, a decent amount. And if you're right on Jaden Blue, then this does hit. If Kyron goes down, Hunter could be the guy. Hopefully it's not Blake Corum. But then receiving core looks pretty stacked. You got Lamb, A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel, Jaden Higgins, Luther Burden, Jalen McMillan, Demario Douglas, Jalen Tolbert. And not bad. And then tight end is pretty risky with Likely and Ertz. A risky team. If I could change one thing, I would have not drafted Drake May. That's the only thing I would probably change. Yeah, I think I might have gone Evan Ingram instead of Drake May there, given you did not have a tight end and Evan had fallen. But it's competitive. Not too bad. Has a shot. Hopefully the Jalen McMillan pick does work out. But says you wish you got Gibbs instead of CD. Yeah. That would have been nice, but it is what it is. Joshua Carrero asking, do I think George Kittle will be tight end 3 by the end of the season because of Jordan Mason and Deebo Samuel being traded? I don't really think the trades have anything to do with it. I think Kittle's just that talented. I do have Kittle ranked as tight end 3. I do trust Kittle a lot. He consistently puts up big numbers, especially with Brock Purdy. I think we had him, yeah, right here. 2 straight seasons with over 1,000 receiving yards and at least 6 touchdowns on 90-plus targets back-to-back years. I trust Kittle. He's getting a bit older. Could miss some time, but they gave him the contract extension. Absolutely going to get heavily targeted. I trust Kittle. He is my tight end 3. I like drafting Kittle. But before we go, we will check out the poll. We got 60% on Coke. It's not letting me. And then 40% on Dr. Pepper. So if I was contributing to this poll, I would add that Dr. Pepper selection. We'd have a 50-50 call, but looks like Josh also has a vote for Mountain Dew. Coke appears to be the winner. Anyways, that's going to be it. Hope you enjoyed. This one was fun. We had some very fun teams in this live stream. Very entertaining for my sake. Hope it was entertaining for you. If it was, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I will see you guys on Monday. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Stay safe out there, and knock on wood that Friday the 13th does not mess with your health and good fortune. Peace out, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.